here. It was great to have you here. And if folks have any questions, I'm sure they we'll send out the PowerPoint plus your email and figure out that any opportunities that exist, correct me if I'm wrong, but any opportunities that exist within the PCCA, you folks, our folks can come. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, all those events are open to everyone. Yeah, so that link page, they don't need to actually get the PowerPoint. You can just, that page can do it all. And so, but yeah, we'd love to have folks. I mean, I think the one thing that I think needs to, that we talked about in every camp that we visited is that it doesn't matter if a camp is big or small, everyone is doing something innovative. And so it's important that, that we come together so we can find out what your site is doing that's innovative. And so I just hope that, I've had a chance to visit 9 camps, this summer. I hope to continue to visit more United Church of Canada camps, but just let me know if there's anything that I can do to help.
Well, Joel, before you go, my question would be, what do you see as a value to, beyond sharing what we find innovative? My history with the PCCA is, and some of you on the call may know this, some may not. 3 or 4 years ago, the United Church of Christ, OMA UCC, the Outdoor Ministries Association of the United Church of Christ, offered us all a free, by us, I mean the United Church of Canada camps, including places like Five Oaks, Judy, would have been offered a free membership to OMA UCC for a year. And that free membership got me to Arkansas, to Ferncliff Conference Center in Arkansas, which was a joint OMA UCC and PCCA meeting. And that's where I first met Joel. It was an eye-opening experience because if you've never been to our triannual meeting, I'm not sure how many people have. I know that Dan has and Matt has. Doug certainly has. I wasn't sure if Betty and Marianne got to the last one that was here, but ours are small gatherings where it's very much like, Joel, you described the program connections. The last one especially, we focused on getting ideas and discussing those ideas. The huge benefit that I find from going to a conference like PCCA or being involved is that I can get resources that I simply wouldn't have available to me if I'm a small camp in the middle of nowhere doing stuff. So Janet is shaking her head, which is awesome, because the resources page alone, so Joel, the PCCA has a resource page. The United Methodist has a resource library that is worth peeking your head through, and it's free to sign up to. Joel and I sit on a different committee called the Outdoor Ministries Connection, which the really brief history is that there used to be a National Council of Churches in the States, and Outdoor Ministries was a part of that. But as the National Council of Churches went the way of many things, it doesn't exist anymore. They allowed the Outdoor Ministries Connection to, or they split it off and said, you guys do what you want with the money, essentially. And so at that table, and Joel, correct me if I miss anybody, United Church of Canada sends someone, myself the past couple of years, Bev Ogue before that, to sit at that meeting. The Presbyterian, the PCCA is there, the Lutheran Association, Lutheran Outdoor Ministries Association, the United Church of Christ, OMA UCC in the States attends, the United Methodists attend. There have been Southern Baptists. Is that what John Batchelder is?
No, it's American Baptists. They're more liberal.
American Baptists, and then Lutheran, Episcopalian, the E. Yeah, so it's a group of mainline denominations who understand, some of us understand, not all of us, that working together is going to be better for us as outdoor ministries. Unknown to any of you on this call, I spoke with Nora Sanders yesterday, who is our Executive Secretary of the United Church of Canada, who happened to be at the closing worship service for Elgin Presbytery, because Nora grew up in Elgin Presbytery. Nora's brother sits on my board of directors. And Nora has been invited to the Great Gathering in November of 2019 as our church leader. And she said that she's been in touch with a couple of other church leaders to go. And she agrees that we need to look at that we're not United Church camping, that we're outdoor ministries with all of these other outdoor ministries. Joel often uses a phrase, and this might be early in the conversation for you, but Joel has used the phrase in deeper conversations about removing the P, right? That it's just the Church Camp and Conference Association, right? Or outdoor ministry.
There already is one that's called that. You can't use that one. But we've talked about we're going into a strategic plan, talking about how PCCCA might be able to cast a wider net and might be able to be an entity that. I mean, I gave you a list of non-Presbyterians that are already members, but we're trying to figure out ways in which we can help other denominations, to have access to all these things. And so, So I think Matt and Joe and I have been talking about this, Jordan as well, and I don't think Matt, you told Joe yet, but we've got homework while we're in Lake Tahoe that we're supposed to come up with something for Jordan. But anyway, just trying to figure out what it would look like, because, it's, I think it's important that I was so impressed with the 9 camps that I visited this summer. I visit a lot of camps. I visit maybe 30 to 40 a year. And I can tell you that if I visited 9 Presbyterian camps that were all in the same kind of region, I would have seen at least a third of them that were dying on the vine and that were not doing well. And I didn't see any of that in the 9 that we visited. Folks are doing, some folks don't have as much as others, but everybody was, some camps were more than capacity. And so I just want to get these camps together, because I know when we get them all in the same room, they're going to have a lot to offer each other.
Yeah.
Joel,
Anybody want to ask any questions at this point? But just recognizing time, and we have some other things we want to talk about as well. Joel, I just want to say thank you for being here, and I'm sure that you, folks around this table and beyond, will hear more of your name in the association to come. Thank you for being here, and if any folks have any questions, you can certainly let Joel know. So,
thanks, y'all. Y'all take care.
Thanks.
Excellent.
All the best.
See you in a bit.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, I guess, for those who would have received an email from Jordan, I guess the last Outdoor Ministries Institute meeting in September, we talked a little bit about this, the idea of doing the Great Gathering, and those around this virtual table right now, are you thinking about going to that conference in November, just as a November 2019? Are folks going? Yes, Dan, Sam, somebody?
That's a good reaction, Samantha.
Great.
Oh. 2 people.
From Janet, was that a yes from you? No.
Is it working now?
It is, yeah.
Okay, I switched my phone. I have interest, but I don't know where our camp's standing on that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're pretty small, and they're
forget.
tending to not like to send far away because our budget's pretty slim.
Well, here's the benefit for all of us here is that the budget numbers, and I was on the phone with Jordan just the other day, and the budget numbers become much easier for us, because once you look at the cost of the conference, you're somewhere around, I think with accommodation and program fee and whatnot, you're at $5-something US. And then you add your travel. The plane tickets aren't as expensive as I had imagined. And I tested them out from Halifax and from London, Toronto, and Detroit. the United Church is going to give $500 to every camp person who wants to go. So that's easy. And then you can also, your camp can apply, you can apply through your camp or your place of ministry for $500 additional dollars through the Vision Fund, as long as you haven't used that $500 for something else next year. Remembering, Matt, that your camp can only get $1,000. Your ministry can only get $1,000 in a single year through the Vision Fund, which means if, Janet, you're attached to a church, you could use $500 from the church and still have $1,000 to split between two other people somewhere else, if that's But it is a time commitment. These conferences in the States, and one of the things you may not have picked up on, I know that Betty and Marianne are employed somewhere else, right? Like you have other jobs and other things, and Doug and and Dan and Samantha and Jen, but they run their conferences from Monday to Thursday, because when you see the map of the PCCA, you're seeing 135 sites, and of those 135 sites, I'm going to think that the number I've heard is 125 of them have full-time staff. They run year-round in some way, shape, or form, which is unlike the United Church of Canada.
Yeah.
Because full-time staff, you can count on two hands. Full-time executive directors, you can count on two hands when you get to United Church camps. So they're not a weekend conference. It's a week-long conference. They're very welcoming. The great gathering, and Matt, you can speak to this, but it's going to be a big conference. 600 to 1,000 people is what they're estimating from all of these mainline denominations. And one of the reasons we've chosen to push going to North Carolina is that we as a church can't get this quality of speaker or these quality of sessions here, and to have our talk outside of our church, because I have learned, anybody who's visited other camps or done OCA accreditation visits, you learn so much by going somewhere else that it's even just talking to them is hugely valuable.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that we want to try to do over the next several months is talk this up, get people to think about going, and so that we can have a really good United Church of Canada presence there. There will be opportunities for United Church of Canada folks to gather during that week, which I think is a benefit to continue these types of conversations that we're having right now. So I think that's it right now for PCCA. I threw in something, two things in the agenda for tonight. One was just around what do we want to hear from folks for maybe November, for November, and probably December, not so much, just with Christmas and everything, but maybe also in January was one thing. And then the other thing was just how folks are feeling around the changes of the church, and we are a small enough group that I think that it's okay to ask that and open that up a little bit. I don't want to delve too far in, because that'll just, if it's a complete and utter, how do I put this in United Church terms? Anyways, I don't want to get too too deep into those discussions right now. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. So maybe we'll just start there. How are some of the discussions going in your local area around the changes to regions, funding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? How are you feeling about it, first of all?
Well, there's a whole bunch of us who are all in the same area. In fact, I think we all end up in the same region. So Camp Tanner, I don't know what's happening to Five Oaks region-wise, and Judy, you're new enough that you might have no idea what we're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what region we're going to be in.
And so the rest of us on this call, except for Big Canoe, all end up in Region 7. And there was an application due August 31st or September 30th after Presbytery had reviewed it. And I don't have any information on what's happened from there. Besides the fact that somebody, that there is a committee that will review it. I was told that last night at the presbytery service.
How are, I don't know, like, how are the discussions? Are there discussions between folks, or is it just sort of like, maybe is there somebody else, or Sam, like Dan or Betty or Doug, like, have the regions talked to you as a camping, as an outdoor ministry about anything, the new sort of transition commissions or anything like that? No.
Yeah, we're all still waiting. It's just a waiting game right now.
Yeah, and the last email we got about the funding was that they haven't even looked at it yet, and that they're going to look at it over the next month. So we're going to be very close to December before we know about the funding. But one thing that was obvious from the funding application we had to fill out was that their intent is to wean us off of these grants quite clearly.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Doug. The presbyteries here have been able to allocate some of their money in their budget for next year. So we've got the camp covered, the Camp Bay Canoes covered under Living Waters Presbytery's money that's going to the region. So the regions let them allocate some monies over the next year. They're saying in about 3 years, the funds are going to be a lot less than they are now. So for the first year, they let us allocate some. So we were able to deal with the region to get some allocated, and I'm pretty sure Sparrow Lake did as well, and Scugog.
I have a feeling that I think the commitment that they made somewhere is that they would match our funding that we have received from our presbyteries for the first year. But yeah, the application does not look like they want to continue to fund outdoor ministry or any incorporated ministry at that point.
Yeah.
I went on one of the finance calls, and the guy said that just be aware that in about 3 years, our budget line is going from whatever it is now down to, like, it's seriously cut what they're going to actually fund in the next 3 years from now, and they're not sure how quickly it's going to go down. That's what someone said on one of the calls.
I also don't know how staffing is going to work, right? Like in London conference, we've had a conference office in London, which is not the center of London conference. And so that's one of the reasons that Guestwood has always felt left out of this. And Kennessary's a far drive to get to the conference office, right? It's not like you could have an office that was only an hour from everybody, but you could make it more central than London in our current area. But now that office is in, right, when the new region comes, that office is going to be in Hamilton. And some of the employees who are working, they're saying they're going to be working out of their cars or their homes, and will only have to be in the office one day every 2 weeks is the expectation right now.
So just to give you a context of out east, I guess, in the Atlantic region. So we have we currently have 2 conferences. We will have 3 regions. We for about 10 to 12 years, our 5 camps in the Maritimes have been gathering for 10 to 12 years, twice a year. And every time we gather, whether it's a board or our staff, we do this, what we call the spectrum of possibilities. And the spectrum of possibilities is everything from get completely out of camping to stay status quo and don't talk to each other. And so the spectrum is there's a lot of different possibilities in there. After the closure, we've had 3 camps close in 10 years. And after the closure of those 3 camps, every camp, once the trustees determined where the money was going to go, the monies from those 3 camps was created a legacy fund. And currently there's about $300,000 sitting in this legacy fund that is only specifically tied to camping ministries. So I'm the chair of our, what we call Outdoor Recreational Ministries Committee of the Maritime Conference. And of course, the conference is looking for recommendations on what to do with those funds. We've actually agreed to take that money and use it to include Newfoundland and Labrador region. So instead of looking the sort of idea of protecting our own, we have gone further and said, let's do some more work to bring people together. Newfoundland and Labrador Conference has never come to any of our camping ministries gather. I shouldn't say never, but from what I understand, it's been very few people. And so, to reach out to them and say, hey, look, we're actually gathering in the first week of December. We're gathering again in June. We want you to be a part of this discussion on how we move forward. And in fact, our recommendation to the new regions is that if they want money, they can apply to that fund as well. Because we are over the oversight of one principal minister or whatever they call them. So the whole idea of working together is I'm finding a little bit more bringing strength together. And also, one of these great ideas that somebody on our committee came up with was, if we're going to do 3 streams of this funds, and one of the streams is you can apply with another camp. So the whole idea of collaboration is very noticeable for those folks. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that sort of piece because I think that's key in moving forward.
I think it is key. I don't think there's any camps in London Conference that are in that same situation. We don't have a built-up reserve that we know of. I'm not sure if somebody's hiding one, but that's great. I think it's important for us to continue to talk as camps. Even after January 1st comes, there's a lot of churches and ministers and people, presbytery people, who don't know how this is going to pan out and what's going to change. So I have 3 other things that I need to mention. So the first thing is our November meeting. We are going to set the date as the Monday the 19th. Because on the 12th, Matt and I are with Joel in Lake Tahoe. So not the second, it won't be the second Monday, it'll be the third Monday. And we'll put that on the website as part of our schedule, just so we're all aware. And we'll have a sign up available shortly. The second thing, and I'm just posting it to the wearecamp.ca webpage. If you were registered for this meeting and got emails, you would have also received the recent Outdoor Ministries Connections survey. And if you've received it, we need one person from your camp, and Judy, Michael would have gotten this, but we need one person from every camp in the United Church of Canada and Outdoor Ministries, Five Oaks included, to fill out the survey. And this will be the 3rd time this survey has been done. And so we're building on data. Is to get a 90 to 100% response rate for United Church camps, which would give us enough participants to get our own set of data done up by the organizer to tell us all of the things, where we fit, what we do. It takes about, I'm not sure if somebody's filled it out. My camp director filled it out, not me. How long did it take you?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. So it's not a long survey, but it's a good survey. Last time we had 8 camps across Canada fill it out. We didn't do a lot of promotion. I'll send the link out again and again over the next few weeks. Please don't unsubscribe. Just know that I'm sending it out so that more people get it. The third thing, any questions about the survey? So Betty and Marianne, I'm not sure if it would have gone to you directly or if it went to Rick. Might have gotten it at Lambton Center. And Marianne, is Sean still with you at Chemo Key? No, I can't hear you. It's okay. So it would have gone to those people. Look out for it. Only one per camp is the key. The 2016 OMC results are on the resource page of the wearecamp.ca website, and I will put the SurveyMonkey link up for this year's there. Don't keep filling it out. We only want one time per camp. The other thing briefly is that November, for those who are local to us here in London, we just opened up registration today to Think Camp, which is hosted here at Pierce Williams, which is a chance to get together as camp people and just talk about whatever we want to talk about camp style wise. You can find the details at thinkcamp.ca, which will redirect you to our page on our website. It is a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I know some of you are gainfully employed. I'm not gainfully employed. I'm employed at summer camp. So we are aiming to have 10 to 15 people this year, which would be 3 more than last year. So that's our goal. It's a small group. I know that Rick has come from Lambton Center, and he has already said he wants to come again. And we have people from Presbyterian camps coming. We have the new director at Big Canoe, Doug, Steve, has expressed interest in coming. So these are all exciting things that we're, and it's $100 for Tuesday night to Thursday at noon. We're not making money off the conference. We're just covering costs of feeding people and entertaining. And those are the 3 things I had. Did you have anything else, Matt?
Nope. I'm good.
Was there any big, what do we want to discuss in November?
Mm-hmm.
Marianne, if you can hear us, I would love to hear more about, and Judy at Five Oaks, the partnerships with local, Aboriginal groups that are close by, and how camps can better serve, can better do what they're supposed to do with reconciliation and those things. And I know that was a huge topic in April and May, but in April and May, there's not a ton of time to get those things ready. So I wasn't sure if that would be a good topic for November. Dan is shaking his head yes. Janet as well. Yeah. So Marianne, would you be willing to talk a bit about your experience and how you see us partnering or working with and supporting groups going forward? I don't think we can hear you. Can anybody hear Marianne?
She typed at the bottom.
She's what?
A
Sure, I
message.
can do that. Yeah, she typed.
She typed in.
Sure, she can do that. Perfect. That's awesome. And Judy, I'm not sure who at Five Oaks is that person who might have knowledge of how that was set up or how they're doing it. But if
Yeah, one of us I think will be able to.
Okay.
That's a month from now. I'll be in a
Yeah,
different place on the learning curve. Yeah, and I think there's some questions around partnership and inclusion that is first step, destructuralize colonialism, which is kind of a white people task. And if the education is around that simply, even if we are not able to partner, with a community directly, there's a whole lot of education that we can do in the camp context. And there's some resources that we have drawn on in terms of like how we are, how do we worship, how do we tell particular stories or have particular understandings of the land and our relationship to it.
The other thing we did with campers this summer, the chair of my board is Métis and has and runs the blanket exercise, and we did that with a group of our world campers this summer and our LIT campers, and they found it very, very enlightening and actually altered their thinking about the history, because I'm not sure we teach the proper history in school.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was in school, we didn't learn about these things. So
Yeah.
that's great.
I think that's a great topic to talk about in November for sure. And can we agree that we're not going to meet in December then?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just meet in January for another topic at that point.
Yeah, so I'll put those scheduled dates up on the website.
Great.
So there are 8 camps represented here tonight, which is awesome. 8 out of 56 is what Jordan says we have. So spread the word as well, and we'll hope to see. We'll put that in. Start promoting the. We'll come up with a title that makes sense. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that title is.
Great.
So.
Sounds good, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. And it is 9:30 in my world. It is 8:30 in your world.
Okay.
We'll see you guys later.
Hey Dan, stay on the call. Stay on the line. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh, you need to hang up. Matt needs to hang.